in your own story. I was very shocked by this, profoundly shocked. And that's why my first question to you, Jurri, was how much did you know about me before you wrote this? It caught me off guard, and it was quite a fun adventure. I'm really loving it, and I'll be watching it again. I'm so excited about my new freedom and my new liberty and all the affirmations that you spoke to my life. I'm usually the encouraging person in people's lives. This has been a huge encouragement to me, Jurri. You clearly have a gift of hearing from the Lord, and I affirm that, and I can tell everybody that you and I have not exchanged any biographical information about each other before this, which affirms a really super unique gifting that you have, and I applaud you, and I'm excited about seeing it blossom further.
It's a life-altering, encouraging word that will change your life forever if you apply it, and it's totally worth the investment to do it. Don't hesitate. Don't wonder, is this right for me? Is this the right time for me? Just do it now, because you need the encouragement now. Don't wait.
And as far as the podcast goes and becoming a legend, I encourage everyone to really just pray and talk to God about it. And if you feel led to get or to sign up to get one, I strongly encourage it, because not only did this edify what God is doing in my life, but it also gave me the ability to share what he's done in my life with you guys, so that if any of you needed to hear specific things that were said by either the story or by the guest, that it really allows people to hear that, and it really allows them to get your story on top of the story that you wrote with us.
Brilliantly said. Thank you, John.
I would just recommend it to get a story, because it's the most unique thing I've heard of, but it is so anointed. So I would do it for two reasons. One is because it's anointed and you're hearing from God, and that in itself is a beautiful thing, to have God use somebody else to tell you something about yourself. So I would do it for that. And I also would do it to spur another person's passion to help sow into what you're doing, because we need people like you who are pioneers, who are boundary pushers, who want to pursue something not everyone's pursuing. We want to give you encouragement, and we want to love on you, and that's one way we can do it, since we don't get to see you in person.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This was such an amazing experience, honestly, and I am so grateful that literally the Lord has given you this gift, because it really is powerful and impacting for me tonight. And I'm sure by just me hearing you just read my story to me, it was so touching, and it's what I needed to hear for this week. And I know a lot of people felt that way if they've come on your show, so I definitely thank you so much for your work, and definitely just keep staying in this field. It is a true blessing. Thank you.
Wow, man, Lacey, thank you for saying that. Hello and welcome to the Legends of the Wind podcast. I'm Jurri Schenck. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am thrilled to have you with us and to have our guest Jennifer Schumann with us as well, with her story called Denim Dreams. And I want to just welcome you to experience something profound, which is called prophetic storytelling. What I'd like to help people do is discover their identity and destiny through story. You know, it's interesting is that I want you to know that what we do here is different than a prophetic word. A prophetic word is not the same thing as a prophetic story. And hold on a second. A prophetic word is not the same thing as a prophetic story. It's so important to know this, because what we're doing is we're combining the prophetic gift with the arts. And just like the painting behind me done by my wife, Alisha, she uses her gifts and talents creatively with the vision and ability to see in the spirit. I do the same thing here as well through storytelling and about creating an experience for you. And I use my background and training as a writer and also as a filmmaker to help people have those discovery experiences and aha moments. Now, that means that we are not just doing a ministry thing, we're doing the creative arts. So I hope that makes sense to you. Now, if you've enjoyed our shows before, we highly recommend that you check out our previous broadcasts. Last week we had Andre Harden on, and his story was so cool. It was called Chinatown is a Mess, and it was about him and his wife Pamela going on a crazy Valentine's Day date, and all he wanted was to get dinner, and some guys on scooters stole his food, and he had to find his way back to get them. And I was so worried and nervous about that show because I know Andre for many years and I didn't really know what to do. I wrote his story, of course, but I didn't know if I was truly being prophetic enough, if that makes any sense. So during the show, Andre literally pulls off from camera. Guess what we got for dinner? We got Chinese noodles for dinner. And I was so blown away that God helped me and encouraged me that I was hearing truly for his story. That was so cool. And then other broadcasts recently, we had Dr. Nick Goff, where his story was called Owls Among Us, and it totally nailed it. I was so blown away because I didn't find out until after I delivered his story how spot on that story was for him and his ministry. I literally got the download the very hour of something traumatic happening in his life, in his ministry. And it ended up becoming the thing that really satisfied his heart, that God was in control of his situation. So I'm growing as well. I'm learning as on the fly on this job. And I want to thank you for joining us. Now, if you wouldn't mind, if you haven't done so already, would you please hit the like button and the subscribe button and hit the notification bell? That way more people know about what we're doing and how this can get the word out and spread out, the algorithm, if you know what I mean. So guys, thank you so much for your support. Now, our guest is coming on right now, Jennifer. I'm bringing you on board. Hello, Jennifer. This is Jennifer Schumann. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Oh, sure. My name's Jennifer, and I received this gift from Andre and Pamela, and I am just so blessed and very grateful for this opportunity. And I just can't wait to hear what the story is and to see what revelation I can get from it.
That's great. And you have you seen any previous broadcasts?
I have. I saw Pamela's broadcast a couple of weeks ago.
Cool. And what did you think about it?
It was really good. It gave revelation, and it also gave understanding about the individual. It gave understanding about Pamela and how her personality is, and the way the story went. I really enjoyed it.
Great. Thank you so much. By the way, I can hear through one of your microphones, the audio is being broadcast, so we've got a loop. So if you could bring the volume down or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe it's coming from another room. I don't know. So
it is. Can I go in?
That's fine. That's
okay.
Fine.
Can you turn it down a little, Dad? Thanks. Is that
Cool.
better?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that worked. Thank you very much, Dad.
Okay.
Cool. It's live television, guys. It's all fine. So thank you very much. Well, I'm glad that you watched Pamela's show. It was quite a ride to write it and to deliver it for her, and to know that God was speaking to her in her story. So yes, thank you. So I'm excited for your story too. Now, just so you know, Jennifer, and those of you in the audience, that these prophetic stories are not meant to be understood literally. They're meant to be understood symbolically. Okay? It's almost like that these are a waking dream or waking vision. And you need to use the same approach of dream interpretation to unpack the meaning. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So now the story is a revelation, and our conversation afterward is an interpretation. And then the whole goal for you, Jennifer, is what we need to do is discover the application of the revelation in the story. The stories contain hidden treasures of their symbolism, and we need to find out what that looks like for you. So you have choice and power in receiving a prophetic story. You can say, yes, I accept this story, or no, I do not. Or you may need time to process it. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. So that's a really quick teaching I learned last year, that people need to have that little bit of background to know what to do with this, and that is symbolically understood. Okay, so your story is called Denim Dreams. Are you ready?
Okay.
Very cool. All right, here we go. Denim Dreams. Jennifer would sit in her grandmother's lap on the rocking chair as she spoke eternal things into the little girl's heart. Grandma's voice was always so soft and kind toward her. She said, "My child, remember my words of wisdom and always know I have the best for you. You are going to grow up into a woman who is spectacular." The times that Jennifer spent with her elderly grandmother are something she truly cherished. The sage advice, the loving care, and the cooking of delicious food, especially on Thanksgiving and Christmas days, impacted Jennifer's heart to the core. It was this loving impartation that set her on the course of life. Mom and Dad were there, but Grandma made forever a mark. This matriarchal wisdom and courage are why Jennifer chose to follow her dreams in spite of the suffering she endured. Many others in Jennifer's life didn't understand her and were even jealous of her sense of fashion and looks. But inside her heart was a great inner beauty that expressed itself through her outer being to shine. Everyone knew when she walked into the room. Now, Jennifer was never materialistic, but she loved to create fashion and was always looking her best. Her circle of friends was small, but those ladies' hearts were truly knit together. They spurred each other to go further and higher than ever before. One day, Jennifer was driving to work, and she drove her small car through a construction site. The street was all torn up, and there were many holes and chunks of asphalt scattered throughout the road. Everything slowed down for Jennifer, and she worried about the delay she faced. She didn't want to be late because today she had to give a big presentation to her company's CEO. Will I ever make it into the office in time? She wondered. Jennifer's big dreams swelled in her heart. She had great vision and passion, but the delay wore on her. Soon the crawling traffic jam in the construction site led to a halt. One of the construction workers walked up to each of the drivers to tell them what was going on. It will be about 10 to 20 minutes. The asphalt paver has jammed, and they're trying to get it unstuck. You will be unstuck soon. Panic emotions filled Jennifer's heart. She didn't know what to do. There was no way to turn around. Jennifer grieved about this situation and debated if she should call for help. She grabbed her cell phone and dialed the office to explain the situation. Her manager was not happy and told her, "The board is here too. Everyone wants to know about your project. We can only wait another 40 minutes. This extension of time gave Jennifer's heartbeat a second chance. In the back of her car were some boxes of paper and foam core boards with all the designs she created for the company's next fashion line. Jennifer had created a brand new series that would potentially take her company to the next level. All night long, she pondered her presentation and practiced it in front of the mirror. "It's called Denim Dreams," she said with a glowing smile. "Women of all sizes will feel like $1 million in these. They'll flatter your curves with any style." Not only did she have the designs and sales pitch, Jennifer knew her market well. She performed many studies and gained great insight and data that would almost guarantee her success. "The sales will be off the charts," she exclaimed. Only Jennifer knew what she saw, and today was the day to let everyone else partake in her vision. In the driver's seat, Jennifer was impatient and rattled her fingers over and over as she watched the heavy machinery ahead. The different construction workers paced back and forth, looking at the stuck asphalt machine. All of a sudden, there was a loud bang or explosion, and a large amount of black smoke shot vertically into the air from the engine exhaust pipe of the asphalt machine. Some of the construction workers jumped back and looked, but they jumped for joy as the asphalt machine started to run again. It rolled forward and the work began. Within a minute, it moved far enough to make room for the traffic to pass. Jennifer shouted for joy. "Come on, let's move!" She took her car out of the parking gear and gently pressed the accelerator. The delay was no more. This hindrance and problem left a terrible smell of tar in her nostrils. She couldn't stand the sick smell as it gave her a headache. Jennifer vowed that she would never come this way again. "I've learned my lesson," she said under her breath. Now, mind you, this was not a complaint, but true humility. Jennifer knew that the treasure she carried in her destiny was incredibly valuable, but the timing of its release was completely out of her hands. "Onward and upward," smiled Jennifer as she left the construction and entered the causeway that would lead her to her downtown office. As she drove, Jennifer saw the tall buildings and skyscrapers. There were advertisements and billboards everywhere. They showed various famous brands and celebrities on them, but Jennifer saw her company's logo that was down low near the street level. A larger firm recently bought them out, and the CEO told them in the acquisition that she wanted them to shine. All eyes were on Jennifer for this next pitch. Inside the large presentation room, Jennifer set up her foam core boards and took a deep breath. Moments later, her staff, the board of directors, and the company's CEO entered the room and took their seats. Some of the employees watched with an eye of jealousy because of Jennifer's opportunity to shine. Many of these designers were cutthroat and had something critical to say, but they always did it with a smile. Jennifer dimmed the lights halfway and started her speech. Through various images and designs, she laid out the vision of Denim Dreams. But Jennifer had a special surprise as the music turned on. Not only were there drawings and images, but a series of models entered the room wearing Jennifer's new jeans. The women came in all sorts of shapes and sizes, smiling and showing off their fashion. Jennifer jumped for joy as she had her fashion line on display for all to see. Everyone loved what she offered in the new line of clothes. As soon as the presentation was over, the CEO stood up and clapped her hands. Immediately, everyone else joined the applause, even Jennifer's foes. The CEO walked up to Jennifer and hugged her with a glowing smile. She said, "You have worked so hard on this project. Your words, your designs, and your efforts all have come to their fullness. I have to say, I am impressed. Today I came here not sure what I would find, but today I'm putting my full financial backing into this division. You truly have captured a woman's heart in these clothes. Your market research, your choices of designs, everything is perfect for what we need. Every woman will want what you have. Denim Dreams will absolutely prosper." Jennifer felt great, incredible relief and remembered her grandmother's words of wisdom and love. The foundation was strong and true, and today the skyscraper of Jennifer's destiny was going up, up, up. And all the delays and distractions did not prevent Jennifer from achieving her dream. Now she was living it to the fullness and about to enter a whole other realm of life. Inceptio.
Thank you. That
You're-
was very kind. There was a lot of revelation in that.
Well, let's talk about it. What is it that you saw?
Actually, I wear denim jeans all the time. That was my first one. The second
Okay.
one was the struggles. That's huge. Just because of the fact that the Lord has just taken me on an adventure, and it's like you have these ups and down days, and it's amazing, and you learn a lot. It's a lot of revelation, and the other one was I can just imagine back in Seattle where I was a business administrator for a fishing consulting firm, and when I heard that the manager was angry, or not angry, but upset,
Right.
because the owners were there. It's like I can imagine that, because the owners came in like one week out of the whole year, to Seattle. So yes, there was a lot of things that were really.
Wow. So there's some good stuff here that's resonating. Beautiful. Wow. Well, I want to help you out, help me out too, because I have a wonderful dream dictionary, and I actually found denim in here.
Oh my goodness.
I know, right? So wearing denim reflects your desire to fit in and work with others in harmony. You are hardworking and desire to complete what God has called you to do. Your spiritual covering will allow you to venture into various situations where your spiritual gifts and callings are needed. Isn't that cool?
I love that. Thank you.
Well, yeah.
That was really
now,
awesome.
just for people in the audience, have I ever talked to you prior to this show other than the 15 minutes of getting set up? Have you ever sent any biographical information? No, I don't know you. I just wrote your story yesterday. That's too busy. And so this definition in the Dream Dictionary, which I just looked up before we got on the air, by the way, wearing denim reflects your desire to fit in and work with others in harmony. Now, you did tell me just before the show that you're in school, you're going to go after a certain degree. Tell the audience what your schooling is, and how does that connect the dots with your choice of schooling and career with the denim, that you don't mind.
Oh, sure. I'm going to school. I'm graduating in May, with a psychology and counseling degree, a bachelor's. And what I would like to do is help others who are, actually, the Lord put it on my heart to help people who are destitute, to give them hope and encouragement and understanding as they go through, as I help them go through the process of healing themselves.
Wow. And so what is the definition of denim connecting with that? What would you say?
Basically, it's just reconfirming the Lord's way of telling me that my path is the correct path, and I'm taking you on not only an adventure, but I'm also taking you on your calling. And it was just reconfirming with me what my calling is, and that this is what He wants me to do, or the Father's will for my life.
So essentially, the story's confirmation.
Yes.
Wow, cool. Well, what are some specific things in your story that we can talk about? Like, what is in your real life? Like maybe your grandmother, I don't know, but like what's in the story besides what you've already mentioned?
My grandmother was one. My parents were both in the military.
Okay.
And I stayed with my grandparents for probably 6 months, roughly 3 to 6 months. I'm not sure, because I was so young. I was probably 18 months, and there wasn't any family housing on base where they were being stationed at. So I stayed with them, and I got to know them very well. And it was just it helped out, because the thing is that she is very dear to my heart. And when she's very she's very anointed with when something, she has an unction and within herself that if something's wrong, she'll call someone saying, "Is everything okay?" And it just she said, and the person on the other side of the phone says, "How did you know? How did you know I was having a hard day?" It's that type of thing, and that really is helpful.
Wow.
Or that not helpful, but that's who she was.
Brilliant. Wow. And so would you say that the story is accurate for your grandmother's characterization?
I think so.
Oh,
Most
that's
definitely.
cool. Wow. And now, one of the things that's interesting about your story is, if you were to interpret it in dream language, is that you're in a car, a small car, you're carrying your gifting with you, and you're having a delay. Before we just go diving all the way in, how's the issue of delay speaking to you?
there are some things that I need to learn and I need to grow, and the Lord is teaching me the process. And there are delays because it just didn't add up, or it didn't line up correctly, I guess. And so you just have to, I have to just, you know what, Jennifer, it's just, you just have to go with the flow and just hang in there and know that the Lord's with you and that he is just cultivating you, because we're all open vessels for him to use, and he's just cultivating you. He's the potter and you're the clay and you're on the potter's wheel, and he's just forming you and creating a new vessel within you.
Wow.
And that's awesome. I see it, and it's a beautiful vessel. It's still growing.
That's great. It's like the pathway in your story. The road is under construction, right? So you are, if you were to say that your path of life is similar to the road, and that there's a delay because they have to get the asphalt machine working. Well, what's the pavement all about, right? It's what's on the surface, but in order to have the surface worked, there's a deeper work in the ground, right? You have to get the base of the road laid up. You have to prepare it. It's all so metaphorical, of course, isn't it? So, and then, so denim. Well, in dream language, clothing has to do with identity. And you said that you wear denim all the time. Well, a lot of people wear denim all the time too, right? So do I. But if that was not to be taken in its literal sense, but I think that what would you say about your sense of direction that God's giving you about your career and ministry, helping as a social worker? How would that help you? How would this story help you speak to the identity of the people you're going to help? Because in your story, you have this big presentation and you have this big fashion show. It's almost like it's all shapes and sizes, right? And what do you think about that?
I know that everyone comes all different. And the thing is that what you have to do is you have to have empathy for everyone, especially in the counseling field. And with empathy, it helps people understand that, you know what, I can relate to you. And it's basically having harmony. And the harmony of it is going in depth with everyone or with individuals, and basically, saying, I've been in your shoes. I know what you're going through, and I can help you out of it.
Yes. Great. And you mentioned harmony, right? I love, where is it? The first sentence of the definition is, wearing denim reflects your desire to fit in and work with others in harmony. That's so good. You are hardworking and desire to complete what God has called you to do, and your spiritual covering will allow you to venture into various situations where your spiritual gifts and callings are needed. I think that's so fitting, like clothes, right? It's great. I love this. This is so cool that this is unpacking this well. Now, part of your story talks about the jealousy of others toward you. Have you been involved with or suffered from that in any way?
Jealousy of others. I really don't pay much attention.
Okay.
I'm so focused on what the Lord wants me to do that I'm not really paying attention to what others are doing. It's basically, okay, what's the next thing that you need me to do, Lord? Okay, what do I need to learn, Lord? What do I need, and just trying to focus on the Lord constantly instead of just focusing on what others are. I really try not to consume myself with that. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, because that's exactly how your character in your story is. Your character, you, Jennifer, in your prophetic story is driven. You are focused. You practice in front of the mirror. You give your presentation. You're prepared. You've done the hard work. You don't just like duck off a water's back, water off a duck's back, about the hard work that you do. And I would just say, as an encouragement for you, that while you pursue your gifting and your ministry and your calling with utter focus, with utter preparation, you may need to navigate people who may not think of you as well. And so you just made me be aware of that dynamic could happen to you, because the idea for you is for you to shine, right? This whole presentation is like you have a fashion show, you have all these clothing, you're literally helping women with their identities and all the different shapes and sizes. And you've done the market research, you understand the brand, right? And to me, that speaks of what you want to do in social work and helping people. And that's going to be a powerful time. And I think that that's a perfect parallel for who you are. What else would you like to say about your story?
I just liked it. I mean, it related to me in so many different ways, and it just brought so much clarity and so much information pertaining to, you know what, Jennifer, this is a calling I have for you. You know, and it's powerful. It was a powerful story, and it hit home for me.
Great. We have some people in the chat here. Mike says, hi, Jurri and Jennifer. Gail says, sweet. And Andre said, you've got this denim queen. Cool. Well, we want to open up the chat. If anybody has any comments or questions to add to our conversation, please do speak up. Please participate. We'd love that as well. You know, I also look at the company in your story was bought out by a higher company, a CEO. And I think maybe in your background of your previous career, you would understand that, right? And honestly, sometimes people get laid off when they're bought out and they downsize. But in this case, the CEO wants you to shine. I think that God is wanting to encourage you, that He's going to give you a platform for you and like an opportunity for you to grow, but also remember, like you're looking up at all the billboards and the famous celebrities, but your company was down on the street level. There's a place of humility that God's brought you into, so that He can set you up for incredible prosperity and growth. I think that can speak to your process, and also speaks to your future, that you're going to really shine. So that's cool. Wow.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit. You told me before that you were interested in a variety of ways of doing social work. Can you tell the audience more about that? I was assuming that you were into therapy, but you were going to do broad. Is that correct?
There were, to become a counselor, you have to have a master's degree. And with the master's degree, you can go into counseling, which is great, but it's a narrow field, and it's only like a very few careers that you can do. Where social work, it's a broad field. You can go into the government to work as a social worker. You can go into nonprofit. You can go into corporate. You can you can go into many different fields, and you can go into schools if you want to, and you can also do counseling as an LCSW, which is a licensed clinical social worker.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And I also a reason I brought that up is because, like, so many people wear jeans. It's one of the most common pieces of clothing, and you know, with your story, everyone is wearing those outfits, and yet you are chosen a broad market, right? And I think that's an echo of your story. Mike Smith says, I like the explanation of what denim means. I wear jeans all the time. Yes. CS, you are wonderful, Jenny. Thank you, CS, for saying that. You must know who CS is.
Yes.
Andre has a comment. Let's see. People who only focus on fashion tend to be tempted to spend or live above their means, so to speak. But Jen has a way of bringing people back to the simplicity of just being who you are.
Oh, thank you, Andre.
That's very sweet. And he also added, and in leveling that playing field makes everyone feel like they're on the same level. That's cool. Thank you, Andre. And by the way, Andre and Pamela, thank you for gifting Jennifer her prophetic story. I'm so thankful that it's resonating so well for her tonight. This is great. I have to be honest, like I had to write this story in pieces over the past 3 days or so, and I got so many delays, and I was worried about the flow. I didn't have the flow that I usually do when I write, and distractions just tear my time apart. And I'm so, again, relieved for this working for you. Wow. Wow.
It's very, thank you.
Yes. So let's look into your story a little bit more.
Okay.
It says here that you said after you left the construction site, you say, "I've learned my lesson." And she says, "Now mind you, this was not a complaint, but true humility." Can you speak to that in some way? How have you learned a lesson?
How did I learn lessons? Well, I learn lessons all the time, and it's based on the Lord. You know, it's interesting because the thing is that when I was born again, I was like, okay, the Lord's going to tell me what to do, how to do it, and everything's going to be fine, right? I'll go down this path and with no problems. Coming to find out, the thing is that you learn through experience, and by learning through experience, you understand for yourself why it doesn't work out and why it does work out. And to know that and to understand that aspect was a huge benefit for me from where I was before back in 2018 to now, and how experience means so much more than just someone telling you about something, you know, oh, don't
Yes.
do this, you know, someone telling you don't do this. Well, why not? You know what I mean? And it is just based upon experience. And I have to
Wow.
learn through experience.
There's two big things I want to jump off on that. One is that that's what I like to do with these prophetic stories. I want to create an experience for you in the audience to have an aha moment of revelation through the story. I love that. But the other thing is, you know, you said that you became born again in 2018. If you don't mind, would you share how that happened? Like, what was part of your journey from before and after?
Before was very, I was in a lot of distress, and I basically cried out to the Lord in prayer and in worship, needing some type of help because of the fact that I searched everywhere for the help and I couldn't find it. And he came in and just rescued me from where I was. And basically, what he did was he took me from where I was and he transformed me into something. And I'm still growing into what he wants me to become. And it is so huge. It's like a pot, and it's broken. And the thing is that he's putting those pieces of the pot back together again, or that vessel back together again. And you know how I believe I don't know if it's the Chinese or, but they basically put gold.
Yes.
Do you see those things where
Yes.
the gold is like the glue that puts it all together, and it's a beautiful pot, even better than what it was before. And basically, I was broken spiritually, and I was broken, and he basically came in and he just renewed me, and he's still renewing me now.
Wow.
And he's bringing people into my life that are just they're edifying me, they're encouraging me, and they are giving me understanding and teaching me in the process as I go through my journey.
Wow. I so appreciate you saying that. Thank you for sharing your heart. Yes, that's the word. Andre says it's called kitsugi. Kitsugi? Yeah, so
Oh yes.
the vessel is broken, and they glue it together, and they have gold in the seams of the cracks, and it actually makes it more valuable. A simple piece of pottery, which is worth nothing, it becomes priceless in the end of its brokenness being restored. Yes, I love it. Wow, great. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Oh, you're welcome.
If you don't have anything more to add, that's okay. I think that your story is so good because it really resonates with the process, isn't it? It's all about the process, and I think that that's the biggest theme of your story. And the fact that your grandmother in your story and in your real life provided that container for you to be prosperous. I mean, she said at the end of her speech at the beginning, you're going to grow up into a woman who's spectacular. And here it is. You have your fashion show and you're shining. It's parallel to your career and calling as a counselor. That is so beautiful to me. And I don't know. I mean, maybe you'll be dealing mostly with women. I don't know. I mean, in your story, it focused on women's fashion, but who knows what God's going to do with you. So that is beautiful. Well, if you guys have enjoyed this show and you haven't done so already, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and share this out on social media and let people know what we're doing. And if you want to have your own prophetic story, you can go to our website, legendsofthewind.com, and go to our store and go to the product called Become a Legend. Now, what does it mean to become a legend? Well, legends are not just, I'm super famous. It means that they're something on a map. Legends are the identification objects or icons on a map. And they tell you where things are and where you're going and how you know what your directions are. And that's what these prophetic stories do, is that they give you a sense of identity and destiny. Like for Jennifer, this story was confirming her destiny and giving her confidence in her identity. And that's so important, and that's what these stories do. So if you want to get a prophetic story, there's also in the description, there's a link below, and you can order a prophetic story from me. Now, if you do not want to appear on the podcast, that's fine. We can work with you on that, but we want to get out there and help people know their story. Now, one of the other products we have is our Volume 1 of Legends of the Wind. This contains 20 prophetic stories. They're just like what we do tonight, and they're written for children and adults. And these stories are mythical. They're fantastic. They're fairy tales, and they speak to every identity, every heart, and there's something for everyone in them. And I highly recommend you check this out. There's also an audiobook version that I made, and it's not just me reading a story. It's got music and sound design. It's 3.5 hours of storytelling, and it really sucks you into the world. So check it out on Amazon under Audible, and you can also find this on our website as well. So thank you so much. My dad and parents are watching, actually, and my dad says not paying attention to criticism and their distraction can be a very good thing. However, that is two-sided. Negative things around you don't distract, but counseling requires awareness. So there you go. My dad is a retired teacher and educator, and so he understands being aware of the room, if you know what I mean. So
Yes.
that's something very powerful. So don't lose your focus, don't lose your drive, but also be aware of the cars around you, if you follow me. So, cool. Well, guys, thank you very much for our show tonight. Jennifer, thank you for being my guest and for participating. I'm glad that the story spoke to you so well. Would you ever recommend anyone else getting a prophetic story?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I think it's a gem. It's a gem that is basically, it's a powerful gem that helps you understand, what for me, what your destiny is and what your calling is and what road and path you should take. And it's just reconfirming everything. And that's what's powerful about it.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. I'm so glad that the story just hit it right in your heart. Thank you very much. So, Jennifer, remember to stick around. But guys, Thank you for joining us on the show tonight. It was a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for enjoying Jennifer's story, Denim Dreams, and we'll see you on the next broadcast. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Here we go.